Good morning, second grade. Today is Wednesday, April 29th, 2020. And we have quite a few tasks we're going to be working on today. We are going to be reading the second informational text of the week. We'll be looking at some vocabulary that goes along with that. We will also be checking for understanding and comparing and contrasting this text to the text that you read yesterday. So let's get started. Please open up your Student Interactive. We will begin with previewing our vocabulary for the text, How Earthquakes Shape the Earth. Remember yesterday you read about how water shapes the earth. And on page 526, you have two vocabulary words, the word amount and damage. Amount means the quantity or number of something, and damage means harm. Let's go ahead and get started. You will be reading How Earthquakes Shape the Earth. It begins on page 527 and it ends on page 535. I'll be sure to put the link online if you want to listen to it or follow along while it's being read to you. If you want to do that now, you can go ahead and pause the video and then press play when you finish. When you finish reading that text, you are going to look at these words that you should have been able to see in the text: ruin, disasters, damage, flows, and amount. And these are words that we've talked about before. And I want you to read these examples, number 1 through 4, and fill in the blank using those words. When you get to number 5, it says use the word flows to describe how water can change landforms. So that's something you'll have to do on your own. If you're unsure of how water can change landforms, always go back to the text. When you finish page 536, I want you to go to the next page, page 537, and you have 3 questions for your check for understanding to check your comprehension, and I'm going to be giving you some hints. So number 1, it says, what makes these informational texts? So other than the fact that I told you these are informational texts and that we see that little genre blurb on the top of the page, how did you know that the text, How Water Shapes the Earth and How Earthquakes Shape the Earth, how did you know that those texts were informational? My hint is for you to go back to the anchor chart on page 513. If you're unsure of why these texts are informational, read that anchor chart one more time and see what stands out to you. Something should stand out that made you realize, oh, this is an informational text. When you're ready, move on to number 2. Number 2, why did the authors of both texts use section headings? So keep in mind that when the author wrote these texts, they didn't just write all of the text and leave it as one big section. They broke it up into chunks, and those are what those section headings are. It's almost like a mini title for a different part of the text. Why would the author do that? Well, whatever you write, I want you to keep in mind that those headings really show us important words and ideas. Okay, when you're ready, move on to number 3. How are earthquakes and rivers alike? Something that you should have gathered from this text, and even gathered from the titles of the text, is that earthquakes and rivers, water, change the way the land looks. If it were me, I would write both of these change the way the land looks, and see if you can give me an example. How does an earthquake change the way the land looks? And how do rivers change the way that land looks? When you're ready, you have one more page to work on today. That's page 538. And on page 538, you are going to compare and contrast the text. I'm going to read the directions to you. When you compare, you tell how 2 things are alike. When you contrast, you tell how they are different. You can compare and contrast important points in 2 texts about the same topic. So the My Turn pretty much explains that you need to fill out this chart. You can go back to your close read notes if you did decide to underline or highlight while you were reading. You were not required to, but I suggest you always go back and look at the text. So water, earthquakes, both. Let's get started with both. What we know about water and earthquakes, especially based on the titles of these texts, is that both of them can change the earth. Right now, I would get your pencil and write both of them can change the earth. And then when you're ready, under the water column, I want you to tell me how water changes the earth. Something I want you to keep in mind is that water shapes the earth slowly. You might want to write that down. Water shapes the earth slowly. And then I'd like you to give me some examples of how water shapes the earth slowly. What does it do to rocks and soil? What do glaciers do? What about mountains? When you're ready, you'll move on to earthquakes. And the opposite of water, earthquakes change the earth instead of slowly. They change them very quickly. And I want you to give me an example of how earthquakes change the land quickly. So that's all you have to do for today. Please reach out if you need any help, and I will talk to you again tomorrow. Have a great day.